Excellency, I wish to hand over to the Master of Ceremonies for the day, Honorable Wilson Buruli Mukasa, the Minister for Public Service, as well as National Coordinator for the Global Peace Leadership Conference.
Your Excellency, the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Your Excellency, Taban Deng Gai, First Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, Your Excellency, Gaston Sindimo, First Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, Your Excellency, Dr. Amani Abeid Karume, Chairman of the Africa Leadership Mission, Dr. Hyun Jane Preston Moon, Chairman of the Global Peace Foundation, Honorable Dr. Augustine Philip Mahiga, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the United Republic of Tanzania, Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Devolution, Republic of Kenya, Ambassador Albert Muchanga, Commissioner for Trade and Industry, African Union, Ambassador Mahbub Maalim, Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, Parliament of Uganda, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, distinguished leaders of delegations, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to welcome you once again to the second day of this very, very special conference. Special in the sense that all stakeholders, both government and non-government, have gathered together to discuss the issue of peace. You are welcome indeed. Yesterday was the opening day. We spent the rest of the day in breakaway concurrent sessions concentrating on the issue of peace from the point of view of several sectors of society, from the women, from the youth, from the educationists, from the entrepreneurs, from the intercultural, interfaith sector of society. And indeed, Your Excellency, I'm glad to report that a lot of good work was done. Your Excellency, there are 2 or 3 speakers who would like to, who have been invited to set the ball rolling and lead us into this process of actually closing the conference. We have the first speaker from the UNDP, and then we shall get another from the USA and from East Africa. I would like to invite them to say just a few things and set the ball rolling. Let me at this juncture invite the speaker from the UNDP to come and just say a few words. And the time, as usual, is limited only to 3 minutes. You're welcome.
Your Excellency, President Museveni, Uganda, I bring you greetings from the UN country team in Kenya. I am the Rosa of Kenya. So I just want to say that it's really an honor to present to you what is happening at a very interesting time between Kenya and Ethiopia. Back in 2015, President Kenyatta and the former Prime Minister Haile Mariam came together in the border town of Moyale, together with IGAD, and signed an MOU of peace. 35 clans that have seen internecine violence of the past have come together, put down their weapons, and actually there is a level of solidarity which is exemplary. Recently we had the Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister of Ethiopia, visit Kenya, and in the joint declaration between Kenya and Ethiopia, we have found that the issue of the cross-border program of Moyale has featured prominently. Yesterday, under the leadership of our Cabinet Secretary, Eugene Mawalwa, who's here with us, together with the Minister of Karamoja Affairs, Engineer John Biagambe, there was a discussion about what we could do together as two countries around the Karamoja area, how two UN country teams from Kenya and Uganda, how civil society and how devolution in these areas could work towards the advancement of peace, prosperity, and the opportunity. Excellency, with the signing of the free trade agreement in Rwanda, this is an opportunity which presents itself where the cross borders become borders of peace, of harmony, of free movement of goods, services, and people. And this is the greatest opportunity that we have, what Kenya, together with Uganda and Ethiopia, are demonstrating, which could potentially be replicated to the rest of Africa. I thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, we seem to be running against time. This conference would have been graced by the presence of His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Unfortunately, some intervening program came in and he could not be with us today or even yesterday. However, he sent a special representative to come and deliver his message. I would like at this moment, Your Excellency, to invite His Grace Bishop Sunday Onwoha to come and deliver the greeting from His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo.
Mr. President, our able chairman, and I also want to acknowledge the former president of Nigeria who is also here, and to bring to all of us greetings from my former boss who, as he has personally written to you earlier, that he is not going to be here. There are two mails that he asked me to deliver to you at this gathering. Your Excellency, I wish to congratulate my brother, His Excellency, President Museveni, on hosting this Global Peace Leadership Conference at East Africa Great Lakes from August 1 to August 2, 2018. As I already informed Mr. President, I very much wished I was present, but I am regrettably engaged in New York for an earlier scheduled event. I am, however, with you in spirit, and I have sent my former special advisor, Bishop Sunday Onoha, to represent me. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me also congratulate the other presidents who have joined this third Global Peace Leadership Conference in Africa to advance peace and development solution for our continent. I am pleased to be a member of the African Leadership Mission under the chairmanship of His Excellency and the President of Zanzibar, Karume, working together with the Global Peace Foundation and its founder and chairman, Dr. Preston Moon. From the Nigerian perspective, I'm pleased that our faith leadership, including Bishop Sunday and his GPF colleagues from Kaduna State, are here to exchange best practices in peace building and peacemaking. I have no doubt that the faith and cultural leaders, educators, entrepreneurs, women, and youth assembled here will contribute to the ongoing African Renaissance. I wish you very success in this convening and look forward to hearing the outcome you will achieve together. With best wishes, Olusegun Obasanjo. He has also asked me to announce, as the chairman of the board of Rochas Foundation, has asked me to announce that Your Excellency will send 10 African students from your country to Rochas Foundation to have free education from primary school to university level. The executive director of Rochas Foundation is here. Maybe he's coming from the airport right now. He's running late from Kenya. As you are aware, Mr. President, and this is a letter to you too, millions of African children, due to poverty, negate education, instead subjected to survive through street trading and begging, while some are in orphanage homes. It is for this reason that Rochas Foundation Incorporated, a non-governmental, non-political, non-religious, non-tribal, non-profit organization, was established to cater for the educational needs of less privileged children from across Africa. The foundation is hereby offering this free scholarship to your children, and this has been extended to all the African presidents to bring five children from their countries so that we can practically experiment. We started last year, and we are hoping that in God's grace, Africa will be one. We already have 16,000 children who have already benefited from this foundation. Greetings from President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Thank you very much, Your Grace. Now, let me take this occasion to invite His Excellency Architect Namadi Sambo, former Vice President of Nigeria, to just have a word before the conference. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency, Yoweri Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellencies, I will stand on the existing protocol. I will start by expressing our sincere and deep appreciation for the decision of Mr. President to host this important event. The message from Nigeria has already been delivered by my brother, Bishop Sunday, and there is almost nothing that I can say regarding a special message. But Mr. President, I must say that I was in your country the last time you celebrated the 50th anniversary of this great and lovely country. And that was, I think, in 2014, around that time. And when I came this time, Mr. President, I couldn't recognize my way. The country has completely, Kampala has changed. And everywhere I can see a lot of development. And this is part of what creates peace. Mr. President, we are really appreciative of your leadership in this country and Africa in general. Thank you very much, and pray that we have a successful conference. Thank you, and God bless you.
Now, we are moving a step ahead into our program. I think this is the right moment for me to entrust this session in the hands of His Excellency Dr. Amani Abeid Karume, former President of Zanzibar and Chair of the Global Peace Leadership Mission in Africa. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency, General Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable First Vice President of Burundi, Honorable First Vice President of South Sudan, Honorable Eugene Preston Moon, Chairman of GPF, Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, Honorable Ministers representing the Presidents of the United Republic of Tanzania and the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Moruli Mukasa, Minister of Public Service, the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Ambassador Albert Muchanga, African Union Commissioner for Trade and Industry, His Excellency Ambassador Mahbub Maalim, Executive Secretary, Intergovernmental Authority on Development, which is famously known as IGAD. Conference participants, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Africa Leadership Mission, I wish to thank His Excellency President General Yoweri Museveni for hosting this important Global Peace Leadership Conference for East Africa and the Great Lakes region here in Kampala, Uganda. I also wish to thank the National Organizing Committee and the Global Peace Foundation for remarkable preparations that have resulted into this successful conference. The GPLC is being convened with the theme, Moral and Innovative Leadership, New Models for Peace and Development. The realization of this conference is a result of a long process of high-level consultations. Back in April 2017, I had the opportunity in my capacity as the chairman of the GPF Africa Leadership Mission to propose to His Excellency President Museveni the idea of holding this conference in Uganda. Being a champion of peace, His Excellency the President, without hesitation, accepted the proposal and on the spot formed the Conference National Organizing Committee under the able leadership of the Minister of Public Service, Honorable Wilson Muruli Mukasa, who led the preparations for this conference. In April this year, I was also privileged to join His Excellency the President during the official kickoff of the conference preparatory work. Indeed, it was His Excellency's dream and foresight for sustainable peace and development that resulted into the successful conference that we have witnessed. Today, we're very pleased to join in this leadership summit together with the first Vice President of Burundi, the first Vice President of South Sudan, the representatives, ministers of representing the presidents of the United Republic of Tanzania and the Republic of Kenya, and many other dignitaries who are in attendance. I wish to acknowledge the remarkable leadership of Global Peace Foundation's founder and chairman, Dr. Jean Preston Moon. Throughout the past 5 years, we have been together at the GPF convenings in Abuja, Nigeria, in the Philippines, Ireland, and other parts of the world to advance a shared vision for peace and prosperity. His visionary call for one family under God has provided a unifying theme, engaging people of all faith and backgrounds in our common quest for a more peaceful world. Today, we can witness in East Africa that the spirit of handshake peace circles is spreading across the continent, as well as in Asia. This testifies by the presence of a distinguished group of Korean National Assembly members who have joined us at this critical inflection point in world history to advance peaceful unification of their nation. Hence, we can see today's meeting is most timely for Africans and the global community at large. We are pleased to recognize the Interreligious Councils of East Africa, as well as UNDP, IGAD, COMESA, and many other partners who are here and who have extensively supported the realization of this conference. In 2015, Zanzibar hosted a prior Global Peace Leadership Conference addressing the issues of radicalization, peace, and regional prosperity. I can attest that the leadership in convening this forum and ongoing programs made an impact and created the environment for peace before and following the elections of the United Republic of Tanzania. The engagement of faith leaders and youth, along with women, businesses, universities, and other sectors, with shared principles and values, provided a framework which we have used successfully in Zanzibar. Today, this conference examines the anatomy of peace, to use His Excellency President Museveni's words, a theme that GPF has successfully developed over the years in addressing conflicts and development in over 20 countries. We will soon bear witness to the Kampala Declaration resulting from these proceedings and continue on our journey together by advancing solutions presented in this convening in our countries. Your Excellency, dear participants, we have committed the Africa Leadership Mission, along with GPF Africa chapters, the Interreligious Councils of East Africa, UNDP, IGAD, and other partners here today, together with the government of Uganda, to create a peace secretariat that after this conference will bring his message and recommendations to East African and Great Lakes region. And beyond, which will propel initiatives and programs promoting peace and development. This novel idea proposed by my brother, President Museveni, on our previous meeting was wholeheartedly accepted by us. We all recognize General Museveni as a leader who exemplified himself as a symbol for peace. He has shown the world his exemplary abilities are tested by both the war he has won and the peace he has attained for his country. He stood firm in the search for peace in Somalia, South Sudan, and the Great Lakes region. He stands out as a general of peace. Having said that, and I wish this high-level presidential plenary success in its deliberations. Under this plenary, we shall be blessed by the wisdom of His Excellency General Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and the experience of Dr. Yoon Jean Preston Moon, the Chairman of GPF, in peace building across the globe. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Let me take this opportunity, Your Excellency, to invite the Chairman of the Global Peace Foundation and author of the Korean Dream, Dr. Yoon Jean Preston Moon, to make brief remarks to the conference. Your Excellency.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my esteemed honor to address this Global Peace Leadership Conference on this timely theme of moral and innovative leadership, new models for sustainable peace and development. I want to sincerely thank His Excellency, President Museveni, for his leadership in hosting this convening and guiding the important initiatives that will follow from it. Let's give him all a round of applause. We greatly appreciate the National Organizing Committee with the government of Uganda, along with co-conveners who worked tirelessly with the Global Peace Foundation to make this all happen. Please recognize the Interreligious Council of Uganda and East Africa, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda, and other partners. Please give them a round of applause. Special thanks are also due to former President Amani Karume of Zanzibar, Chairman of the GPF Africa Leadership Mission, for his wise guidance. Let's give him a round of applause. Finally, I want to especially thank the Minister of Public Service, Honorable Buruli Mukasa, who chaired the National Organizing Committee, the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament, Jacob Ounla. If I get your name wrong, please forgive me. Olanyo, and our dedicated GPF Uganda chapter leader, Milton Kambula. Let's give them a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa is a continent vibrant with possibilities. There is a vast potential in your great resources, a noble spiritual and cultural heritage, and a large youth population yearning for a future of peace and prosperity. How can their hopes and the enormous promise of this continent be fulfilled? Many serious obstacles must be overcome to create truly a just, equitable, and flourishing societies for all Africans. If these obstacles are not addressed in a comprehensive way, we are all too well aware that many of those young people, their hopes frustrated, could swell the ranks of violent extremists and criminal gangs that are undermining the stability and prosperity of so many African countries. You are all too familiar with this here in Uganda and throughout East Africa, where religious and ethnic conflicts and extremism spread across borders and threaten every nation throughout this region. To unlock the potential of the African continent, it is its people, its families, and its youth, and to address the challenges that at times appear insurmountable, calls for a comprehensive vision and broad, long-term strategy. The core mission of the Global Peace Foundation is to advance such a vision and to engage multi-sectoral alliances in developing strategies and practical grassroots applications that give it substance. We can see this purpose reflected in the great diversity of the backgrounds represented in the participants here. You represent governments, politics, business, education, faith, community leaders, and tribal leaders. To tackle the obstacles before us that undermine peace and development, we need at every level, from the highest echelons of government to the smallest village community, leadership that is both moral and innovative. Moral leadership is guided by fundamental universal principles and values that are found at the heart of every great faith and wisdom tradition. At its core, moral leadership acknowledges that every human being is endowed by our Creator with eternal value, dignity, rights, and responsibilities. This principle is the foundation of good governance, which is the key to establishing peace and prosperity. A moral leader lives for the benefit of all people, all his people, not just one class, one faith, or one interest group. This may seem quite idealistic, but it is practical politics as well. The more people in a nation are educated and empowered to be creative, responsible, and productive citizen owners, the more prosperous that nation will become. The moral leader aspires to unleash the potential of all its citizens to the greater benefit of the whole. Within a moral framework of principles and values, the leader can then address practical problems in creative and innovative ways. All over the world, societies are facing unprecedented challenges, and East Africa and this region is no exception. Old ways of thinking are no longer adequate. Our time requires fresh, creative ideas and outside-the-box thinking. New technologies and in-depth analytics on many issues can be tapped to reveal new possibilities in this effort. Nationals in the digital information field can increase their level of partnership with countries in the emerging world in this endeavor. It is in the interest of cultivating moral and innovative leaders to take on these challenges that the Global Peace Foundation has worked with educators and officials across East Africa to establish the Character and Creativity Initiative in schools and launch the Entrepreneurship Leap Hubs in Kenya, Uganda, and other parts of the region. In educating youth in both character and creativity, we can equip them with the moral and innovative mindset, better preparing them to be good citizens and good neighbors. The goal is also to prepare young people for life after school and in the real world. Recognizing that not enough traditional jobs may be created for all the booming youth population, character and creativity programs develop initiative and flexibility of thought with an emphasis on personal responsibility and the creation of new opportunities. Offering the young hope and opportunities in a time of uncertain future is also one of the keys of addressing the pressing problem of identity-based conflict, driven by the violent extremism of religious and ethnic hatred. On this issue, more than nearly any other, we need more than policies and programs. We need an overarching vision, a vision based on our common humanity, a vision that inspires meaning and purpose, that can transcend the divisive ideologies of extremists. Such a vision emerges from the principle that we human beings are all created by God and endowed with equal value and dignity. In essence, we are all one family under God. This is our core identity, and more fundamental to any worldview built on narrow identities that set one group of people against another. This vision is being translated into practice and applied at the grassroots level by GPF with many of our African partners, even as we speak today. In the wake of Kenya's 2007 and 2008 post-election violence, GPF was at the forefront of conflict resolution efforts at both the government and local levels. At the 2010 Global Peace Convention held in Nairobi, President Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila Odinga participated together in a tangible demonstration that even bitter rivals can resolve differences for the greater good of their nation. Meanwhile, in hotspots like the Rift Valley and town of Eldoret, GPF gave support to community groups formed to prevent future violence. In Nigeria's Kaduna State, which stands between the predominantly Muslim and predominantly Christian areas of the country, our GPF team there developed the One Family Under God peace-building campaign that engages local faith and community leaders, working together to immunize their villages from sectarian violence. Two of the most active leaders of that program are here with us today. Let's recognize both Reverend John Hayab and Sheikh Moriah. Could you please stand and receive a round of applause? GPF is also highly committed to its ongoing collaboration with the interreligious councils in East Africa, here in Uganda, as well as in Tanzania, Kenya, and throughout the region. By marshaling the power of faith communities in collaboration to solve problems and counter the appeal of extremism groups like Al-Shabaab, the interreligious councils can provide essential leadership throughout the region and can also provide a model of global significance. All these initiatives are being driven by Africans themselves. They are examples of African people stepping forward to solve local, regional problems. President Museveni has called for an African-led renaissance, for Africans to take up the responsibility for Africa's future. I fully support this approach. Through it, you can expect to see the emergence of more and more effective moral and innovative leaders in every sector of society, from the village to the government house. For my home country of Korea, I have articulated a vision, the Korean Dream, and launched a movement to reunify the divided land of Korea. It is a Korean-led effort where Koreans take up the responsibility for their own destiny. Based on my experience, I know that positive change for Africa must be driven by local African leadership. The Korean Dream is not primarily about politics or process. It draws upon the deep values that underlie Korea's culture and have guided its history. To build a new future free of division and conflict, we must learn from our past. At the heart of these values is the Korean ideal of Hong-ik Ingan, or translated to English, living for the greater good of humanity. It is a fitting motto for the moral leadership and good governance. I believe that an African-led Renaissance must likewise draw upon the wisdom and heritage and traditional values of the African village and extended families and apply them in creative ways to building a bright future. In fact, I see many parallels between Korea and Uganda, as well as many other African nations. We both experienced the horrors of colonial life. And we also sought our own independence and our right to our own national sovereignty. We also faced the ideological divide of the Cold War, where great powers imposed their ideas upon us. Korea, after the Korean War, was at a similar economic level as most African nations. It has shown a way forward, however. In just less than a century, 70 years, it has risen up to be the 11th largest economy in the world. It is important in a world. This model is important in a world where Western economic leadership is now coming in question. Furthermore, the dominant values of the secular West often present a direct challenge to the traditional, time-tested values of Africa and Korea, particularly in fomenting forms of irresponsible individualism at the expense of family and community. Families are the foundation cornerstones of a stable, prosperous society, nation, and world. They shape the character and outlook of future generation of citizens. It is hard to imagine a successful future of any society in which individual whims are allowed to dominate. Resisting this tide by drawing on our traditions in another significant area is where Korea and Africa can lead. March 1st of next year is a centenary of the Korean independence movement against Japanese colonial rule. It was launched in 1919 with peaceful mass demonstrations where the Korean Declaration of Independence was proclaimed. The centenary will be a moment for rededication to the ideals and aspirations of those independence champions who were willing to give up their lives for the cause of their own national sovereignty, and to galvanize all the Korean people in common cause toward a shared future that realizes the historic aspiration of a unified Korea that benefits all of its citizens, and indeed, the entire world. The Global Peace Convention will be held in Seoul next March on achieving the original goals of the independence movement and promoting the ideal of one Korea global campaign. I invite all of you, our African brothers and sisters, to join with us in Seoul next year and to support this global campaign. With all of you in common, with all of you we share in common, I believe such mutual support will provide an inspiration not only to Koreans, not only to Africans, but to the world. To close, I'd like to share with you a thought relevant then as it is now at this inflection moment in human history. In the midst of the American Civil War, then President Abraham Lincoln declared, "The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise with that occasion. As our case is new, we must also think anew and act anew. We must disenthrall ourselves, and then we shall save our country." And so it is true today, my brothers and sisters, that this is our time to make a difference. As Koreans in my homeland in Korea, and as Africans here in the continent of Africa. Uganda, I was told, is the pearl of Africa, the heart of Africa. Let us stir and create I know that you're not in the ocean, so you don't have tsunamis there, but let us create a tsunami that can go to every corner of this great continent and bring about an African Renaissance, as our dear president here wants to see fulfilled. Thank you very much. And remember the vision that we all should share. The vision of one family under God. I want to just give another quote. It's a quote by Genghis Khan. Although he was an uneducated tribal leader, he had a vision to bring peace by uniting all humanity under one great empire. The vision that basically inspired his life was something that he shared with others, and he quoted like this: "If one person has a dream, it is but a dream. But if everyone shares in that dream, it becomes reality." Let us all be the owners of one family under God, and let's make that dream into our shared reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for those invigorating words, Dr. Moon. Thank you very much indeed. Now, we are blessed to have in our midst distinguished leaders. I think this now the time for them to make brief remarks to the conference. Let me take this opportunity to invite His Excellency Taban Deng Gai, Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, to make his brief remarks. Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency Amani Karume, Your Excellency, the First Vice President of Burundi, Your Excellency, Dr. Moon, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be with you this morning, representing my President, His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit, who was invited to this very important forum, but he could not attend because he is very busy home to realize the vision of living in peace in the Republic of South Sudan. He is preparing himself to go to Khartoum so that he sign the final peace, there revitalize the peace of 2015, so that the younger nation in the world could live in peace again. And we thank Excellencies, the head of the state of IGAD, President Museveni, President Uhuru Kenyatta, Prime Minister Abiy, President Bashir, President of Djibouti, Somalia, and also our President in the G5 of AU. Your Excellencies, we are engaged in South Sudan in various levels to bring peace back home. I was amazed when I heard the news of peace at the border of town of Moyale between the Ethiopian and Kenyan clans. And I'm very happy when I heard the initiative of extending that experience to a peace in the corridor of Karamoja. I would add also the corridor of Karamoja, Turkana, and Toposa. the Turkana in Kenya, Karamoja are Ugandan, and the Toposa are in South Sudan, because we experience the same, we have the same experiences. Dr. Moon, let me inform you that in the whole world, the family that you are striving to realize, one member in the family that you are working to realize, South Sudan, it is the only family where we still experience what we call child abduction. Not only cattle rustling, but child abduction. That in the morning or in the evening, somebody from nowhere can abduct your child and go away with, claiming that God has given him this right. If there's a member of this family, this great family that you are working to achieve, that need an urgent support, it is the people of South Sudan. So that we disarm all those communities, so that you give them another innovative values that are more valuable to them than living at the stage of insecurity and internal fighting. Your Excellencies, you may be aware of the peace being negotiated in Addis Ababa and Khartoum, but there are also local peace initiatives taking place inside my country. We have the national dialogue, which is a very important process, but more importantly, we have what we call people-to-people peace at the grassroots level, where churches, civil societies, youth and women are very involved. Let me not go further, but I'm very happy to be here. We are learning a lot. We need your support. Support President Museveni, because he's very much active in South Sudan, so that we have peace. I think we are a human being. We are capable of learning. We know where we came from, and we should know also where we are going. Don't be disappointed. I know many of you are very disappointed of the messing up in my country, but we are going to surprise you that we can also be a better learners, and we may have a better future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. A surprise indeed is coming. It will be a very wonderful surprise. Your Excellency, dear members of the conference, it's now my pleasure to invite His Excellency Gaston Sindimo, Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, to make his brief remarks. Your Excellency.
Thank you, Chair. His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency First Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, Honorable parliamentarians, Honorable ministers, Honorable ombudsmen, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, or protocol observers. Please allow me first to convey the greetings of His Excellency Pierre Nkurunziza to the President of Uganda and all participants to the Global Peace Leadership Conference 2018. On his behalf and on my own behalf, it's my duty to recognize the efforts of President Museveni in organizing this conference. Indeed, he is a well-known African leader who strives to bring and consolidate peace in the region and in Africa as a whole. In Burundi, we commanded the efforts of President Museveni to bring peace in our country. He has been president of the Region Peace Processes Initiative, and now he still is an eminent and respected mediator. So, thank you, President. We all have come to Kampala to exchange about peace, global peace, leadership, to access a new voice of moral and innovative peace leadership. Yes, peace is very important for any country. It's indeed the foundation of the moral, social, and economic wellness or global citizen needs. When we say moral, social, and economic aspirations of our citizens, we think of all needs any person dream to fulfill. As tell the saying, peace is not the absence of war, it is much more. Any person dreams to participate in his country governance. He dreams of education and health care. He dreams of a good and fulfilling job. He dreams of a decent lodging. He dreams of good transportation, and soon. Therefore, Burundi, the first and important principle we learned from Arusha Agreement is inclusive dialogue, a dialogue that includes all groups of the society, political leaders, religious leaders, civil society, women, young, and so on. In Burundi, we have now many violence crises since our independence. And thank God, we got out of the spiral of violence thanks to the principle. Even today, our presidents, vice presidents, and ministers are traveling through of all Burundi regions to meet all citizen groups and share their aspiration. This creates a good climate of understanding, confidence, and participation. As a consequence, Burundi is now in peace. We organized a constitutional referendum without internal financing, and we are all work hard to build schools, hospital, stadium, administration offices with our ornaments. We are now making effort to successfully organizing general election in 2020 without begging support outside Burundi. Dialogue principle is even now building our political leader role. Indeed, that allows leaders we are to show all information concerning the public life. All other principles are the result of this first one: transparency in the management of public affairs, accountability, fighting corruption, so that anyone has confidence in the different leader. Because we are all, if I may say, leaders in our organization, and we are called to the strengthen peace around us. As you may see, all leaders have to give a large place to dialogue so that important decisions, important works are made after a large consensus. This is a good fulfilling for political proposals and good for all social and economic plans. By the way, you know, nchi yetu Burundi imepita katika matatizo mengi. Hapo awali wengi wamezungumza Burundi kuna tayarishwa mauaji ya laiki. Ila leo tukiona viongozi mbalimbali kutoka kabila mbalimbali wanaumatia umoja na usalama katika nchi yetu, leo tunaridhika kuona Burundi iko kwa hali ya amani. Wanazungumza kama kuna mauaji ya laiki. Leo tumekuja pamoja na ombudsman, umoja katika vigogo, wanazungumza kabila ya Watusi. Iko ombudsman na muomba ashimame asalimie watu waone kama yuko hapa. Na leo governments kila kitu nchini tuko pamoja, tunajenga nchi yetu. Asimame wasalimie hapa. The social and economic sustainable growth come to stabilize peace. Young people, after manipulated by international person, have jobs and therefore to derive from wrongdoing. Peace is a foundation. Participation, social and economic growth are the stabilization. One Africa, one nation. Thank you for attention. Please.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It's now my pleasure to invite Honorable Dr. Augustine Philip Mahiga from the United Republic of Tanzania, to make his brief remarks.
Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, host and honorary chair of the Global Peace Leadership Conference. Your Excellency, I bring greetings from your brother, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and his apologies for not being here at this very important conference. Your Excellency Amani Abeid Karume, former President of Zanzibar and Chair of the Africa Leadership Mission and the moderator of this high-level session. Dr. Yoon Jim Preston Moon, Founder and Chair of the Global Peace Foundation. Ambassador Mahmoud Maalim, Executive Secretary, Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD. The Vice President of the Republic of Sudan, the Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, the Cabinet Secretary present here of the Republic of Kenya, honorable ministers, distinguished guests. Allow me to begin by thanking the government of the Republic of Uganda for the invitation and for the traditional hospitality extended to me and my delegation since our arrival here in Kampala. I would like to congratulate the government of Uganda for hosting this global leadership conference in our region of the Great Lakes of East Africa. I would also like to commend the Secretariat for the remarkable work
in organizing this conference. Uganda is the appropriate location for this conference, not only because of its prevailing peace and security, but also because of the commendable role Uganda continues to play in promoting peace and security in the Great Lakes region and in the Horn of Africa. Through the heroic leadership of President Museveni, Uganda has earned its peace through sacrifices and in turn has become the custodian of peace in this region. This conference is very relevant and significant to our region. The region has faced multiple peace and security challenges with adverse consequences on our stability and development. We all know that peace is an essential prerequisite for development. I am confident that the outcome of this conference will contribute in finding sustainable ways of tackling the root causes of some of the peace and development challenges which we are facing in our region. I'm glad to note the deliberations from yesterday on the important role of religious leaders which they have played and continue to play in the global governance and search for peace. Religious leaders of all faiths play a vital role in shaping our societies and instilling in us the values necessary to ensure societal harmony. In this regard, religion strengthens the family and cultural morality values embedded in societal values and traditions. It is therefore incumbent upon national leaders to translate these values into pillars of development and prosperity. When we speak of leadership, values and peace, I am led to think about the late Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, the first president of Tanzania and the father of the nation of Tanzania. Mwalimu identified, believed, practiced, and championed in Tanzania, the region and the world, the following moral values which are essential to peace, which are freedom. There cannot be peace where there is domination. Dignity. There cannot be peace where human rights are violated. Unity. There cannot be peace where there is discrimination and intolerance. Justice. There cannot be peace where there is injustice. Inequality. There cannot be peace where there is marginalization and favoritism. And development. There cannot be peace where there is poverty and hunger. These are the values which enabled Mwalimu to win the independence for Tanzania, unite the country of more than 126 tribes, and sustain unbroken peace, except for the short interlude when our country was invaded by dictator Idi Amin, and Uganda and Tanzania fought together to defeat that dictatorship and earn peace in our region. Mwalimu placed premium on education in building moral values and ethical leadership which would translate into and implement those values into sustainable peace and sustainable development to serve society and not to serve individuals. The current leadership of Tanzania under President Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli has declared free access to education as a moral right. In Tanzania now, education is free at both primary and secondary levels. President Magufuli has ushered in Tanzania moral rectitude in leadership and society as a whole, with a determined fight against corruption at all levels, enforcing accountability and transparency in leadership and revenue collection. President Magufuli demands and practices responsible and innovative leadership to save the basic needs of society. It is through this style of leadership and approach to development that peace and harmony can be built and institutionalized in Tanzania, consistent with the moral compass and transformative leadership of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere's legacy. In conclusion, I would like to commend all the participants for their contributions to express my hope that the aspirations in the Kampala Peace Declaration will be worked out and worked upon and translated into reality. In this respect, I support the proposal by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni that there should be a team in place to follow up on the progress, on the commitment inside the declaration to make sure that leadership comes with ideas and practical, innovative, and transformative leadership to earn peace in our region and in the world. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed. In the interest of time, I would like to request that the remarks indeed be very brief. Let me now take this opportunity to invite Honorable Eugene Wamalwa from the Republic of Kenya to make his brief remarks. Honorable sir.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, fellow peacemakers who are meeting here in Uganda today in the Global Peace Conference. Yesterday, at the opening of this conference, we did say a prayer, and I remember the opening prayer was about the scripture that says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." In the breakaway session, we did not only have sons of God, we also had daughters of God. And the ladies asked where we had left them. But I did look at several scriptures, and our archbishops are here. I think there are scriptures that say son of God, but there are those that also say, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." And we do know there are many daughters of God gathered here today who are playing a major role in bringing about peace in their countries. We appreciate you too. I was very pleased also to hear that Dr. Moon, who is our visitor all the way from Korea, was visiting Uganda for the first time. And I must say that this country, Dr. Moon, is one of the most beautiful countries on the African continent. And that is why the British statesman Winston Churchill called it the Pearl of Africa. I hope you'll find time to visit different parts of this country while you are here after this conference. I have visited many parts, including Bale, where I have relatives. I've visited many other parts of this country, but last week I visited a part of Uganda that I had never visited before, Your Excellency, Moroto. And I was hosted by my brother Musa, the Minister for Special Programs and Relief Services. And what the Vice President of South Sudan said a few minutes ago, His Excellency Taban Dengai, about Moroto cluster, having also a similar agreement as the one we had with Moyale. This is what we are working on last week, Your Excellency, and we were there 4 ministers from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, and South Sudan, and we did agree on a framework where we can bring our communities together. And when you look at these communities, Your Excellency, the commonalities in terms of the challenges, their pastoralists, and their way of life makes it imperative that we bring them together. And while at this conference, I did talk about the absurdity of the artificial borders that were put by our colonial masters. And while I was talking, my brother Musa reminded me that the conference that we were attending had been co-sponsored by some of our friends from Germany, where the Berlin conference took place. So he told me not to talk too loudly about the matter. But, Your Excellency, when you look at the open grazing fields between Kenya and Uganda, between Mount Moroto and Mount Kadam on our side, the communities have been grazing there for time immemorial, and drought does not know boundaries. The pastoralists and the animals do not know boundaries. They look for pasture, they look for water. And across this open field, there's a small stone that says you are now entering Kenya. But as the pastoralists graze their cattle, they do not know what that stone says. They only know where the water is and the pasture. And it shows the absurdity of our borders. They are totally artificial, and we thank our brothers from Uganda for hosting our brothers from Kenya whenever we have drought on our side. The dams, we come for water on this side, and we are working on that framework, which very soon we'll have brought before our presidents and hopefully signed the way we did for Moyale and also for Mandera. But that's not what brought me here today, Your Excellency. What brought me here was to bring you warm greetings and best wishes from your brother, His Excellency President Kenyatta, and the people of Kenya. As you are aware, Kenya has been and remains a partner and a great champion of regional and global peace. Participating in this conference is an affirmation of our belief in peace as the foundation of political and socio-economic prosperity. Allow me to thank His Excellency President Museveni for hosting the Global Peace Leadership Conference and for extending this invitation to me and other regional leaders. I also take this opportunity to thank the Global Peace Foundation, the IGAD, the Private Sector Forum of Uganda, and the Interreligious Council of Uganda for coming together to make this event possible. I am delighted to join you here today at a time when our region is witnessing renewed hope in sustainable peace and security. I say this with great optimism because the combined efforts of the leaders in our region are beginning to pay off, both at the intrastate and regional level. Our next level of interaction is the focus on improving the well-being of our people through increased economic activities, better security, education, youth and women empowerment, as well as addressing community development needs. Indeed, this Global Peace Leadership Conference 2018, under the theme, Moral and Innovative Leadership, New Models for Peace and Development, could not have come at a better time. I am informed that it will explore innovative responses towards expressing and pressing for regional and international challenges, guided by shared vision, aspirations, principles, and values. Ladies and gentlemen, you may recall that the Kenya government partnered with the Global Peace Foundation to host the Global Peace Convention in 2010. This took place from 17th to the 21st of November in 2010. During this conference, delegates deliberated on the conflict resolution for peace and development. Since the Nairobi conference in 2010, the Global Peace Foundation has been working with educators and stakeholders in the education sector to transform and make it relevant in line with the challenges of the 21st century. I am well informed that the foundation has been working to promote character, creativity, and innovation. In Kenya, for instance, this has mainly been done in the public schools in Kenya to promote youth entrepreneurship through science and incubator spaces known as LEAP hubs. I applaud the impressive milestones achieved by the foundation. I was recently the guest of honor when the foundation partnered with young Kenyan scientists and others to launch the National Science and Technology Exhibition. Again, let me congratulate the founding chairman of the Global Peace Foundation, Mr. Hyun Jin Preston Moon, for the good work his foundation is doing to promote global peace through the slogan and vision that we may be different in color, religion, ethnicity, race, name it. But in the end, we are all God's children, all one family under God. And for your information, Dr. Moon, the region where I was, I hope you'll be able to visit it. The Karamoja cluster that brings together the Toposo, the Turkana, the Karamojong, is what has been called the cradle of mankind. The oldest ancestor of man was found around this place. And recently, we did discover tools. The first signs of intelligence of mankind was actually also found around this place. The crude first tools of mankind was found here. So it's not only the cradle of mankind, this Karamoja region, but it is also the cradle of entrepreneurship and innovation. We hope you find time to visit it also. We decided as a nation that political disputes should not be allowed to define our national agenda. Our people suffer deficiency in service delivery and the much-needed economic development. It is for this reason that on March 9, 2018, I reached out to my political competitor and brother, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and together we expressed our desire to set aside our differences and rebuild the Kenyan nation. You were there with us in 2010. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni led the team to bring about peace after the 2008 elections. But yet again, after our last election last year, on 9th of March, we had a handshake in Nairobi, and we decided to do this to make leadership responsive to our people in the urgent pursuit for prosperity, fairness, and dignity for all Kenyans. Unlike in 2007-2008, the peace pact that was signed then, which was mediated by the international community, and you did play a role, the handshake that culminated in Building Bridges initiative is different. We reached out to each other because we agree that elections should never herald suffering for the people who voted for us in good faith. After the election season, they look upon us to provide leadership in their pursuit for better prospects in life. Ladies and gentlemen, this handshake reaffirmed the belief that all challenges can indeed be solved if leaders open channels of communication and dialogue with one another. It is another lesson from Kenya which scholars and international peace practitioners may learn from. Indeed, one may say that the handshake has triggered a ripple effect right up to the Korean Peninsula, where we saw the handshake between President Trump and Kim in Singapore. Our brother from South Sudan has told us about the handshake upcoming in Khartoum, where our president will be attending soon. And recently also, we did see a handshake in our brothers meeting in Ethiopia and Eritrea, and deciding to put their differences aside and to work together for the good people of this region. Ladies and gentlemen, politicians will always find reason to disagree, but our nations must never be at the mercy of these challenges. As much as political competition is necessary, we must not overlook the driving agenda that we are all fighting for the good of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, peace allows us to focus on the bread and butter matters for the common man. At the moment in Kenya, my government is driving the Big Four agenda. For the next 4 years, our focus will be on food security and nutrition, provision of adequate housing, provision of universal health care, and supporting infrastructure and manufacturing to generate employment for our youth. This will not only benefit Kenya, but the region. And I believe, talking of infrastructure, the Ugandan government has done very well for the last 10 years. You can now drive from Kampala to Moroto. Your Excellency, when I arrived in Moroto, I saw a signpost to Kitale. And Kitale, when I asked, that is my hometown, Your Excellency. I had to fly from Nairobi to Entebbe, over 600 kilometers, then fly from Entebbe to Moroto, over 500 kilometers, to hold a meeting with my brother. And when I asked about the signpost to Kitale, they told me it's less than 200 kilometers. And I asked, then I should just have driven from home to Moroto. But Your Excellency, we have challenges of roads. We are doing our part on the Kenyan side. We know you're doing your part on this side, and it's part of what we'll be meeting to brief you about the Moroto Declaration. For today, thank you so much for listening to us, and God bless you all, peacemakers.
Thank you very much. Let me now invite the Commissioner for Trade and Industry, African Union, Ambassador Albert Muchanga, to make very brief remarks.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremony. I get the message, and I promise you that I will not get a white piece of paper conveying a peace message that I conclude. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and I would like to, at this stage, inherit the salutations of the Director of Ceremony. I bring very warm greetings from the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat, who extends his best wishes for the success of this meeting. He would have very much liked to be with us, but he regrets his inability to attend. We are most grateful for the warm welcome and hospitality accorded to us by the people and government of Uganda. Uganda is always welcoming to both visitors and refugees, and we greatly commend Your Excellency and the people of Uganda for this strong, very strong spirit of generosity. Your presence this morning, Your Excellency, greatly reflects your commitment to promoting peace in Africa and the world at large. We thank you very much for your presence. We in the African Union are committed to silencing the guns in Africa by the year 2020. Challenges to achieve this are there, but we are very confident that we shall overcome those challenges. We are in this connection working through continental, regional, and national structures to ensure that we silence the guns by the year 2020. We also see close relations between conflicts and leadership. We therefore welcome the theme on moral and innovative leadership to resolve those conflicts. We further see close links between poverty and conflicts. We, in this connection, are expanding the policy space for sustainable development on the African continent, the latest being the initiative to establish the African Continental Free Trade Area. We encourage all member states to ratify the agreement so that it comes into force by 31st January 2019. We are confident that the African Continental Free Trade Area will create prosperity and in the process undermine violent conflicts on the continent. Before I conclude my very, very brief remarks, I would like to state that the African Union commends the Republic of Uganda and other countries in this region for the establishment of the Eastern Africa Fusion and Liaison Unit. This initiative will strengthen counterterrorism capabilities in Eastern Africa as part of the Djibouti process. It is our conviction that this initiative will also contribute to the attainment of aims and objectives of the African Union Master Roadmap on practical steps to silence the guns by the year 2020. With these very brief remarks, once again, thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and the people of Uganda for your gracious hospitality. We shall greatly treasure this. And I think I've not disappointed you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those very brief remarks. We are not indeed disappointed. Thank you. Let me invite the Executive Secretary of IGAD, Ambassador Mahbub Maalim, to make his very brief remarks.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, may I take this opportunity? Thank you. May I take this opportunity, Your Excellency, to congratulate you on your unswerving effort in pursuance of our regional development agenda. May I single out the area of regional stability, Your Excellency, and recognize the contribution of the Ugandan people through your leadership in making substantial contribution to the stability agenda in very many different places in our continent, beginning from the Great Lakes to Rwanda, to Burundi, to South Sudan, to Somalia, and to Kenya and beyond. This, in my view, Your Excellency, is your realization that we cannot make an inch of development without regional stability, and this requires to be loaded. Your Excellency, in my tenure as IGAD, reporting to 8 heads of states, you are the single most head of state who has sent me invitation letters personal to me in my 3 names and signed by yourself. And Your Excellency, none of these invitations was as a result of calling me for an award presentation ceremony. You had called me to work, and I think it is because of your realization of the fact that policies need to be translated into action, and your desire to have your secretariat around you to take notes and hit the ground running. What I intend to do, Your Excellency, with your permission, in furtherance of that decision by yourself and desire by you, to sit with the Global Partnership Group leadership sometime today and develop a 3-year action plan immediately under your guidance and have Uganda champion. If you allow, I'm running. Thank you, Excellency.